Welcome to Now College, where we talk about the college experience. I'm your host, Amma, and I want to thank you all for listening. And I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Awesome. So before we get started, if you can tell everyone your name, what your major was, and what you do now for a living.
My name is Wyvetta Taylor. My BA was in English. My MA was in business management. And currently, I am a makeup artist in Los Angeles.
Okay. How did you go from a business management degree and English degree to makeup artist?
Unemployment, basically. I could not find a job when I graduated with my BA for a year and a half. So I went to makeup school just to have something to do, just to get out the house, because I was spending a lot of time at the house watching Golden Girl reruns. I just needed to be able to do something different.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a career path or anything, but I realized that I spent a bunch of money on this makeup school and I need to make this money back. So I decided, I was like, I'm gonna make that money back, and realize like, oh, I actually like this. But in that time, I had already applied and gotten into my master's program and had already taken the loan out. So it was just like, I guess this is what we're doing, because you can't just give that money back.
No, you can't. So you went to makeup school in between?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so after your bachelor's, it was like a year or so. And
Yes.
You're like, okay, what am I interested in? Kind of situation, or
No, it literally was just like I saw an ad on the computer while I was just searching the internet for something else. And I saw an ad for a makeup school and was like, oh, I'm going to go. I like makeup. I want to be pretty. It was not a career choice. It was literally just like, I am going to be the baddest girl walking around. It was just like, why not? I have nothing else to do.
and I think that's how that's just me personally. I think that's how the decision is made. It's really that simple. Like, what do you like? Boom.
Yeah,
You know
it was
what I mean?
literally just something to do, because all my friends were either still in school or had an actual job. I was chilling at my mama's house. I needed to do something else.
Did you feel pressure, like, from your parents being at home, or it was just you?
No, I didn't feel pressure from being at home, because they saw I was trying. Like, I was doing the interviews, I was filling out the applications, I was doing all of the things. So they were just like, man, you'll get it when you get it. So they were very supportive about it. And they knew it bothered me, so they were concerned, but it wasn't pressure.
Can you describe that time, if you don't mind kind of going deep into it? Just that year of searching, like.
Yeah, I mean, basically my everyday was just like get up, go to the gym, fill out applications or do interviews or follow up with emails for several hours, watch TV, go to bed and do the same thing the next day.
So, like, looking back, what was the culprit?
Why I didn't get a job? I happened to have graduated the year where I can't remember the exact statistic, but it was basically like the hardest time to get a job in over a decade. Like, it just happened to be a bad year to try to get a job. Yeah. And it was like the fact that my BA was in English, people were just like, no, we need somebody who has like a specific skill set for what we do, not just like a general thing that where we could teach you. So they weren't really interested in me.
Where did you go again for your bachelor's?
Azusa Pacific University.
And for your master's?
Same place. It wasn't intentional that I went there the second time. I just didn't want to have to take the GRE and have to wait like another year to get into place. Because then I'm like, well, now that's putting me at like 2 years where I can't get a job when I'm sitting at the house. So even though I didn't want to go back there a second time, it was just like, they'll let me in without a GRE, and they already have my transcripts and everything like else. Like, they made it very easy to come back. They were like, if you fill out this application, you still have to apply and everything and put effort in, but they're not going to make you jump through the same hoops that another school that has no idea who you are will.
I can only imagine if you didn't get your bachelor's there, getting in would have been.
Yeah, then I would have
process.
had to go through all the things that I would have at another school.
Well, heck yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so it was just a matter of like, do I want to be unemployed for a year and go to grad school, or do I want to be unemployed for 2 years and then go to grad school?
I think a year.
Yeah, I was just like, there's no point in waiting.
Yeah. Okay, so what is a day in the life of Why the Makeup Artist?
So I was doing makeup while I was in grad school. I had actually ended up getting a job at Mac the same day I got accepted into my grad school program.
Wow, so you were in grad school and working. What was that like?
It was okay for the simple fact of the way I did my schedule. I only had to be on campus 1 day a week. Like, I scheduled all my classes for Thursday. So Thursday was just a really busy day. Put your head down and get it done. My position at Mac was freelance. It was a good time for the most part. Learned a lot. You learn to deal with a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities.
How did you get in there again?
I applied. Like, they have, I don't know if the process is the same now, but when I applied, you had to go through like 3 rounds of interviews. The first one was like a cattle call where they just were like, anybody who wants to apply, come here at this time. And you show up and they ask you some questions to go through it. And then as you keep going, then there's like an actual makeup interview where you have to bring in a model and do a look real quick. And they judge you on that out loud in front of everyone.
Well,
it's like 50 people and they'll be like, your eyeliner sucks. They were nicer than that, but everyone understood what they meant.
Now it's starting to, I might scratch this, but it's starting to make sense about your tenacity for grad school.
Yes. So my graduate
sense.
program was 2 to 3 years normally. I did it in a year and a half. I'm like, I'm already working, but I have this loan. I need to get out.
Yeah.
The more I'm working here, the more I can't work at Mac, which also means the more I can't freelance and make money on my own. Because the whole point of working there at Mac for me was I want to get really good really fast, and you're not going to get better than working at a counter fast. So I was like, this is now affecting my ability to earn.
Time is money.
Exactly. Okay. I was like, I don't have time for this paper. Like, I got a client. I got to go.
So let's take it back just a little bit before all of this. So from K through 12, what kind of student were you?
I was a great student. Like A's, B's, mostly A's. I got 1 C in my entire time, K through 12, I think.
No D?
No.
Ooh. Like,
No.
I don't know what that's like.
No. I got a C, and I think it was like a progress report card. It wasn't even like the real thing.
The real on the blue. Did y'all have like blue paper? It's like paper, but it's like really thin.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Report. I don't know.
Yes.
Special.
Where they had, because they would write it on like 3 sheets of paper. There was like a yellow, a pink, and a blue.
Yes.
The like yellow one went to the school. The pink one was for like another file, and the blue one went home with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. I forgot about the different colors.
Yes, because people weren't using the computers that often, so you had to have everything written down.
It's like we're not that old either.
Exactly, we're really not.
Really fast. Now they got smart boards. Okay, so school was pretty chill.
Yeah,
Nothing.
It was not that hard for me. Like, just the way I happen to learn happens to be the way traditionally schools teach. So it was just easy. It was like, show up, get it done.
How so?
I do very well in lecture style teachings where all I need to do is listen to you talk and take notes.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds like most classes.
Exactly. That's what you do in pretty much every class. So it was easy.
Okay. What would you say was like the hardest like teaching style? So when you would walk into class and you're like, oh no, like I need to try a little harder because this teacher.
So it's actually 2. So one is group discussions, because I'm not really trying to talk about it. I'm trying to process what you're saying. And then if you give me like a day or 2, then we can talk about it. Sure. But please don't ask me to process and talk at the same time.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm that way too.
I need that separation.
Yeah, you need to digest it.
Like, if you want to do the lecture and then do a group conversation, then fine. But please don't just throw out something and then be like, well, how do you feel about the War of 1812? I don't know yet.
I gotta see both sides.
Exactly. So there was that, and then there was the whole hands-on learning where they're like, oh, we don't stand there and take notes. You're gonna get in there and do it. And it's just like, no, how about fully explain it to me and teach it to me first? Don't have me trying to figure it out in the middle. Yeah. I'm not gonna remember this because I'm gonna remember what I did wrong in the middle, and then come the test, I'm gonna do the wrong thing.
So K through 12 was chill. What about socially?
It was fine. Like, I had friends. I wasn't the most popular, but I wasn't unpopular. I didn't feel bullied or anything. So
that's good. Yeah. What was the ecology of your your school? The demographic, the vibe.
Demographic. My school was like 99.9% black.
Gotcha. Okay.
There was not a lot of diversity. There would be like maybe one Latino kid per class, and that was about it. The staff would be more diverse, but even that was like
really
between 50 to 75% black.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like I had my first white teacher in 7th grade, and I did not have another one until 10th or 11th. Like I've had 3 white teachers K through 12 and like that whole time period before college.
Wow. Holy cow. And I assume they were young. They weren't like long time teachers.
No,
there.
they were.
That's my assumption.
Well, okay. One had been doing it for a while, but he was probably in his like 40s or whatever. I had one who was probably in his 30s, but he had been probably doing it for like 10 years. And then there was one, he was in his 50s and it was his first year. It did not go well for him.
What happened?
Well, he was a white dude from Florida who had not interacted with black children much.
Enough said.
Yeah.
What was the worst part? Like
he would just say things like you people, not knowing how offensive that is, or like when he couldn't control the class, sometimes he would like blow a whistle at us.
Whoa.
Yeah. And in his mind, I genuinely don't think he meant anything by it. I think he just didn't know because he was a soccer coach in Florida. And so he's like, this is what I do to the kids there. I just think he didn't know.
Jeez.
It didn't seem racist. Just unaware. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, okay. So school seems pretty chill. Things seem pretty okay. So you're in your senior year and you're getting ready to... Was college on your mind? Like, was college always a thing? Or?
College was on my mind from preschool. Not really by choice. It was a family decision long before I was born. So it was just like the 13th grade for me. Like you knew it was coming. It wasn't a matter of whether you want to or not. It's just like you're obviously going.
What made you choose APU?
I ended up getting the full ride.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How'd you get the full ride?
So my pastor when I was in high school used to be on the board of APU years ago. And they ended up doing a scholarship in his name. It wasn't a requirement that you go to the church for the scholarship, but obviously everyone at the church knew about it because he was the pastor. So it wasn't even something that I intended to apply for, but my parents were just like, so you telling me that there's a chance of free money and you don't think you about to fill out this application? So I filled out the application, not even thinking like, oh, I might go. It was literally just like, let me get these people to leave me alone.
Yeah. Because you knew you were going anyway.
Yeah, I knew I was going somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's like serendipity, Like you knew you're going somewhere. Here's our leader.
I don't know about that.
Were you looking at somewhere else?
Oh, yeah. So I applied to 13 schools, got into 11 of them. I had actually, before I accepted the full ride to APU, had gotten into UCLA, had a dorm already, and had done everything but pay for my class. Like, I knew where I was living. I had the UCLA sweatshirt. I had the UCLA blanket. Like, I had all of the things. I did like a week there in high school to know what it was like. Like, that's where I was going. So no, AP was not the plan.
No scholarship for UCLA.
No,
Gotcha.
UCLA were just like, you don't qualify.
Well, I was listening to another podcast the other day, and they were like, of course, that's the better decision in the long run financially.
Yes, I will always say financially, APU was the better decision. It was gone. And that is where I will leave it.
Ain't no but. Full stop.
Yeah, it's just like financially, yes. I am grateful that I was able to graduate debt free.
Yeah. Speaking of APU, how was the experience there?
It was a conservative Christian school, which is unlike anything I'd ever been to before. Like, I grew up in church and everything like that, but like not that level of conservative. Also, I don't know what the percentage is, but APU has an overwhelming amount of blonde white people. And it's like specifically blonde. It's very weird how few brunettes there were. It's like it was almost on the application. So it was very different from my like 99% black high school. So
I was going to say, that sounds like a culture shock.
Yes, it definitely was. It was like, I knew every black person in my class by like the second day.
Yeah.
First, last name, what your major was.
Yes.
Knew all of it.
That's just people. Like, you gravitate towards people like you. Like absorbs like. So it makes sense. Well, from your time at APU during your English major, what was the hardest class?
My hardest class, actually, I didn't have any really hard English classes, to be honest. Like, there was like long papers, but I just happen to be good at writing, so there's not particularly hard for me. I will say the class that was really hard for me was Biology 151, which I should not have taken. I was not qualified to take. I don't know why they put me in this class.
Well, how did you end up taking it?
Well, because when I originally went to APU, I was a bio major because I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. So gotcha. The college advisor that they gave me when I first showed up to the school to pick my classes said that this was the class I need to be in. And I was like, hey, isn't there a biology 101 that I should be in first? And he was like, no, you took high school biology. And if you take 101, you'll graduate late. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, I took high school biology, but number one, that was in 9th grade. And number two, I don't think that prepared me for a college level biology class if I'm saying I want to be a doctor. And he's like, no. And I'm 17. I don't know any better. All I know is this man does this for a living every single day. So I trusted him, which was a terrible decision. But I didn't know that until afterwards.
Well, on the flip side, what was the easiest class?
The easiest class was a fiction writing class. I actually really liked that class because all it was is like every day you'd have to like go home and write like 5 pages of a story on literally anything you want. It just had to be a decent story. It could be sad. It could be happy. It could be funny. It could be weird. Like some of my stories got weird, like to the point where my teacher asked me like, were you high when you wrote this? Like the story makes sense, but the idea is just weird. Oh, and I still got an A. She was just like, I don't know what you were doing before this. But
well, that's good. That's good. So it's funny. That seems like a complete 180, the bio class. Well, which was another level, though. But the bio class seemed like foreign language almost. And
I didn't know a single word they were talking about after, like, the first 2 weeks. I was like, I don't know what these things are. I don't know any of this.
So, looking back after all that we've discussed, everything you've been through, K through 12, your APU experience, what would you tell younger Y? What advice would you give her?
I would say get out. Like, honestly. And not in that it's a bad school or anything like that, but it was clearly not me. I did not relate to the people that were there. And that's not a matter of, being white or blonde or anything. It was just like, I just don't have anything in common. Like, they would have like things where they'd sing hymns in the middle of the campus, like in Trinity Quad. And I mean, I love Jesus, but I don't just join a hymn circle. So it was just one of those things. I was like, I'm not conservative in this way. So that's not where I belonged.
Like, ain't it hot? I'll go inside.
Yeah. So there were things like that where I was just like, I don't fit here. So I would tell myself like, yeah, you do have to pay more to go to UCLA, but it's probably worth the money where you actually feel like you fit.
Because the social aspect.
Yeah, like the whole time I was there, I felt like a square peg in a round hole.
And then you're supposed to go learn.
Yeah.
On top of that. Like, that's, yeah. Oh, man. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story, for sharing, like, your experience and everything. And I know someone, like, listening out there is like, oh, my gosh. I'm at APU. And I'm just kidding. I'm wherever I am. And I've always wanted to transfer. I always wanted to do something else. And I didn't. And so maybe, I'm not telling you to, but like, think, plan it out.
Yeah, it's literally a matter of like, if that's the place for you, then great, stay there, be happy. But if it's not the place for you, don't stay just because you feel like you have to stick it out.
Right.
Like, sometimes it's more important to be you than to stick it out. Well,
before we leave, if you can, I have a little shameless plug area. If you can tell everybody where to find you and where to, heck, they want to hire you. And then even before that, who was your biggest client? Who was your, drop some
names.
Some names. There we go.
So my biggest client was Vice President Kamala Harris.
Wow.
To be fair, I did do her before she was vice president. It was while she was running for president, but before she was actually vice president.
She was still her, though.
Yeah.
That wasn't like 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Holy cow. That's freaking amazing. How was she? Well, as much as you can say, how was she? How was the...
Oh, no, she was great. I don't have a single complaint.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, okay. Were you like shaking and like... You gotta start all over.
No, I mean, I was definitely excited to do it, especially because at the time she was running for president, and I was like, this is the closest a Black woman has ever come to being president. So there was definitely that aspect of like being aware of, even aside from who she is, just where she is in history.
Yeah, just running.
That mattered
just
to
running.
me.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's amazing. Wow. Well, if you want Vice President Kamala Harris makeup artist, where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram at y.taylor. That's WY.TAYLOR. And if you want to book me, you can go to ytaylor.com. WYTAYLOR.com.
Perfect. Before I leave you all today, research your own experiences, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is specifically your own. Bruce Lee. God bless.